I felt pretty overwhelmed when I started my online coaching service because I didn't know how to price it. And what ended up happening was I chose a totally inappropriate price for my service, and that stopped me from hitting the goals I had for my business. Now, what I'm going to do for you in this video today, because I know that it is relatively overwhelming and confusing. You've got people saying that you should charge really high prices, and on the other end of the spectrum, some people are telling you to charge really low prices and build it up over time. You've got people somewhere in the middle. What I'm going to do for you today is to help you get an understanding of how you personally should price your service. By the end of this video, you are going to have clarity on what to charge, why to charge it, how to get over perhaps the limiting beliefs that you might have around pricing, because it's easy to not want to charge high. I get that. It's easy to think, but people won't pay that. You know, I feel like taking that much money off people is unethical. And look, in some circumstances, it absolutely is. But on both ends of the spectrum, both high prices and low prices, they both work. You can have a very successful business and hit your goals on both ends of these spectrums. However, there are things that are going to make it easier or harder depending on your situation and depending on your goals, because really it comes down to you. This is the first question that I'm going to ask you to help you get to an answer on your price. What's your goal? Because ultimately that's what it's going to depend on. If your goal is to just make £2,000 per month, then it kind of makes sense to charge like 100 or maybe 200 pounds per month, because then you need between 10 and 20 clients. Very manageable. There's not going to be a lot of people leaving all the time. You're not going to deal with constant high percentage churn, which is basically where somebody stops paying you and stops being a client. Whereas if your goal is to get to 10K per month and you're going to charge those prices, well, then you're going to need to get between 50 and 100 clients. Now, not to say that that's not doable or not realistic, but for most people starting out, if you price your service that low and you do have goals to get to 10K per month, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. You're kind of going to be swimming upstream at prices that are that low if you've got goals that are that high, because the math simply makes it harder for you. Meaning that, look, 100 clients is doable, it's possible. Is it going to take a while to get there, and is it a lot of work? Absolutely. Arguably, it's less work to charge a higher price and just provide a better service. And alongside that, the people that are paying that higher price typically get better results. Now, the reason why the maths doesn't make sense on, the 100 clients at £100, the reason why it doesn't make sense is because of that churn. You are going to lose a percentage of those clients, meaning that you might get to 20 clients and then lose 5. You might then get to 25 clients and lose 10. You might get to 50 clients and then lose 20 over a month period, say, right? Your churn rate as you get more clients is going to increase. And because you're dealing with so many different people, naturally, the quality of the service can reduce, it can drop down. Not to say there's some circumstances and there's some ways of setting up your product where you can still deliver the value despite the amount of people that are on there, and that's eventually what you're aiming to get to. But if you're somebody who's starting from scratch like I was, if you're starting with a small audience, if you don't have a ton of people giving you inquiries at this moment in time and you're just at the beginning, right, like most people are, then let's not really think about going down the low price route unless you are looking to only get an extra like 2 or even 3K per month into your bank account every single month. Like at that point, sure, maybe go with the lower price options. Now, if you do have goals beyond that and you do want to set your business up in a way where it can have the potential to reach 5K, 10K per month and it not be a ridiculous amount of work for you, then we're going to be looking to go towards the higher bracket. Now, what I would typically recommend for anybody getting into online coaching, have 2 types of prices. Have a split price and have a pay in full price. Now, the way that you want to set this up is you want your pay in full price to be significantly less money in total than the split pay price to give a pay in full incentive. So let's say, for example, you are going to charge £200 per month and it's like a 3-month program. That means that if you want to give them a pay in full incentive, you might charge £450 if they just pay it off in full, meaning that they get £150 off, right? Now that's a big enough of an incentive for them to go, sure, well, I may as well just pay it off in full and save myself that money, because in between £450 and £200 there really isn't that much, so you are going to get a lot of pay-in-fulls. Now if that's the case, let's just round it up for argument's sake. If you're actually going to be charging, let's say £500 for like a 3-month program, then getting to 10k per month becomes a lot easier. You actually only need to then sign 20 clients in 1 month. Still quite a lot of clients to sign, I'll be very honest, especially if you're just starting out there. But don't worry, we'll get to that, and there's more ways that you can play around with your prices. And it's likely that if you do go down that structure, you will have some people paying that monthly price. And actually what's going to happen is your monthly reoccurring plus the pay-in-fulls that you get, those will stack up to make those bigger months. So that's why retention's so important as well. And arguably if you're charging higher prices, your retention can actually be higher because you're getting better results, you're providing a better service, meaning that those clients stay with you, they keep paying you, all of that. So that's a general guide of how to go about doing it. Now those numbers I just mentioned there, they're arbitrary. I'm just breaking down the maths for you and what it might look like. I would start out, especially if you just wanted to get to 5k per month, I would start out with a structure like that, because it allows you to kind of stay in that lower price bracket while building up your confidence. And then as time goes on, go ahead and increase that and let that reoccurring stack up along with the pay-in-fulls to make those 5 to 10k months. And then let's start looking up towards going and charging 4 figures, you know, £1,000 plus per 3-month period that you have. Now, you're probably wondering, what's this whole 3-month period thing? Why are you pricing it in that way? Why are you not pricing it month to month or session to session, hour to hour? Well, you don't want to charge for a period of time or an asset being like a program or a nutrition plan or something like that. What you want to charge by and how you want to price your service is based on the result that you provide for somebody, and not the actual thing that you're delivering them, because that's ultimately what they're paying for with online coaching. That's why it's different to in person, and that's why it's way more leveraged than in person, and that's why people get way better results with online than they do with in-person coaches, because they're two different products. You're solving 2 different problems. With online, you're more specifically solving a problem, helping them get to a particular outcome. If you don't know about all of that stuff yet, then go to the link below this video. It's going to take you to the first video that I put out on this channel ever, and it's actually going to go ahead and explain how to go about thinking about your online coaching service and how to set that up. And that's really important when it comes to figuring out your pricing. So before you do prices, figure out your results so then you can charge in relation to the result that you provide for people. And that way it's going to make way more sense. So for example, you might help somebody lose, I don't know, 10 pounds over a 90-day period. So you're charging to help them lose that 10 pounds in that allotted time. So that's where the time thing comes in to the pricing. Now, I've got some notes here that I want to actually go ahead and read to you around the numbers and around what people are willing to pay, because you're probably sat thinking, yeah, but who's going to pay me £500? Who's going to pay me £200 per month? And look, it doesn't matter what number I say to you. If you've got that belief right now, you're probably going to think that same thing. You've got like an illness, I would say. It's almost like an infection in your mind if you think that people won't pay these numbers. And that we can call it a limiting belief, we can call it a delusion, but I promise you, from 7 years of experience and working with over 100 clients, that people will pay way more than you're imagining right now. And the reason why is because when somebody buys an online coaching service, they're not necessarily spending extra money. What's happening is they're reprioritizing their money by way of becoming a different person. When somebody becomes somebody else, when somebody becomes a healthy person, their priorities change, meaning where they spend their time, money, and energy, it changes, doesn't it? This is the lifestyle change, the habit change. Now, what you'll find is that people are actively investing more than they would pay for your service against their health. And I'm going to read you some figures here. And look, I got these quickly off ChatGPT. It did give me the reference numbers. I would imagine that they're around these numbers. Some may be more, some may be less. Don't hold me to my data analysis. But the yearly takeaway bill, apparently, is £1,304. I don't know about you. I actually think I might spend more than that every single year on takeaways. But £1,304 for takeaways. Okay. The average night out bill is £73. How many nights out? Maybe 2 per month, maybe £140 per month, maybe £200 per month. I don't know. I know that in the past when I've been an avid drinker that I've spent a little bit more than that. Cigarette bill yearly, £3,174. I know that maybe not all the people that you work with smoke, but that could add to it. Yearly alcohol bill. This is like outside of the bar or the club. This is like at home, £1,000. Yearly alcohol bill is £1,000. Might be more, I don't know, might be less, who knows. But like, that sounds about right for me. Yearly coffee bill, £1,277. Quick fix supplements, so like Weight Watchers or fat burning pills, you know, you've seen the things online. £200 to £1,000. It's a fair amount to waste money on things that just don't work. Yearly designer clothes bill, £500 to £3,000 per year. So look, I don't know what, so maybe somebody can do the maths on that, but that's a decent chunk of change. That's definitely over 5 grand, it might even be over 10 grand that people are investing against their health on a yearly basis. So what makes you think that they would be against investing for their health? Most people aren't, and that's just the truth. What we have to do is we have to deliver the marketing and the sales in a way which actually makes them reprioritize money for their health. And look, that's a whole different can of worms, and we'll be opening that in other videos, so just make sure that you subscribe to this channel. But what I want to do for you now is actually go ahead and give you some numbers based on your goals that you might have. So let's say, for example, your goal is to get to just another £2,000 to £3,000 per month. I would typically charge no less, and I mean really no less than £150 per month, and I would do that by having the split pay option. So for example, I probably wouldn't go as low as like a 3-month thing, just because £450 to go down from there and it be a significant pay in full discount, you'd be looking at like £350. For me personally, I would say that that's not enough of a commitment for that period of time. It's too low. I would say let's go a little bit further than that. And let's go, if you're going to do £150, have a minimum commitment of about 4 to 6 months. So that over a 6-month period, what is that? That is 3 months would be 450. Yeah, 3 months would be 450, which means 6 months would be 900. So if they split it up, the total is 900. If they wanted to pay it off in full, then you could go with like a really chunky discount and make it like £600, because getting a £600 pay in one go is a decent chunk of cash to contribute towards getting to like 1, 2, 3K per month. Let's say you get 4 of those sales every single month, then that is £2,400, right? So decent wage, not many clients to manage, very realistic, very doable. Now let's say you want to get to 5K per month. What I would recommend for 5K per month is charging no less than £250 per month to begin with, because to get to 5K per month, then what we want to look at then, let me just do the maths on this. Let me just do the maths on this properly on my calculator here. So 5,000 per month, just off the top of my head, I haven't got it right there, is 20 clients. 20 clients, managing them on a reoccurring basis, and if you've got the pay in full option as well, so let's say in that scenario you do actually go for, you know, a 3-month commitment, so the total over 3 months would be 750. Let's say, for example, you have a pay in full of like, let's call it 625. Well, let's say 5,000 divided by 625, that is 8 clients. So realistically, you're going to need anywhere between 8 and 20 clients, right? Now, let's talk about the big £10,000 number to really make the maths make sense. I would strongly recommend, if you want to get to 10K per month, having a 4-figure price tag on your coaching, just because it's going to make things a lot easier. Making 10 sales per month is doable if you've got, you know, the right system in place, you've got the right offer, you've watched all of the videos on my channel and you're a subscriber. It's going to be easy for you, okay? But let's just divide it. Let's just say £1,200, and let's say that's going to be your 3-month, your 90-day transformation offer. So that's only 8 clients per month. That's 2 per week that you actually need to go ahead and get. Let's say, for example, your price for monthly is £500. And again, I know some of you are going to go, oh, £500, who's paying that? Guys, I promise you, people are paying £500 per month. I've got multiple clients, probably over like 20 people that charge that price. I've got people that charge less, I've got people that charge more. But if we want to get you know, 500, if we want to charge 500, then in order to get to that 10,000, then you actually only need 20 clients. So you're going to need anywhere to get to 10,000 at those price points. Let's say it's 1,500 total, split across 90 days. That's 500 per month, 1,200 pay in full. That means that you're only going to need between 8 and 20 clients. Between 8 and 20 clients. That is very, 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 very realistic. You can do that in the next 6 months if you really wanted to. So yeah, hopefully that gives you some clarity around prices. Really looking forward to speaking to you in the next video. Go and watch the video on like the full